From our own bodies all the way to outer space, here are some of the biggest unexplained mysteries. The mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. The ocean provides many mysteries, but it's rare that just a singular area is tied to so many accounts of danger, peril, and disappearances that can't or won't be explained. This is the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle itself is very large, about 500,000 square miles of water. It's a mythical section of the Atlantic Ocean that is roughly bounded to Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. And if you put 3 dots on those places and connect them, you get, let's say it together, a triangle. But what makes the triangle such a mysterious place is that there are numerous reports of it being a threat, a danger to any and all ships and planes that pass through it. And we're not just talking regular passenger vessels and day flyers. We're talking military vessels that went into the triangle and were never seen again, like the USS Cyclops, a 542-foot-long Navy cargo ship with over 300 men lost. There have been strange stories of aircrafts getting caught up in the triangle, being right over where they needed to land, and yet not being able to see it, and thus went back into the Bermuda Triangle, never to be heard from again. When Christopher Columbus sailed through the area on his first voyage to the New World, he reported a great flame of fire crashed into the sea one night, and that a strange light appeared in the distance a few weeks later. He also wrote about erratic compass readings. What happened to all these crafts? What made them fall or sink or vanish? Did all the people die, or did something else happen? Number 10. Sixth sense. You've had times in your life when you needed to make an important decision. We all do. And as if some magical force of nature whispered in your ear, your body and mind, and maybe even your soul, just knows the answer, knows exactly what to do. This is your gut instinct, or sixth sense, also known as intuition. But what really is this sensation? Why is it some people feel this more often than others? And why do some people make major life decisions based on this tingling they feel? You've likely heard of mother's intuition. A mother more than often knows if a child is in trouble or if one of their friends is going to be a bad influence from the moment they meet them. Sometimes in business, people get this feeling. They can just tell that a deal is going to be good or bad and change the course appropriately. Then there are others who just have no intuition at all. So what causes these feelings of knowledge when the answer isn't that clear in reality? Some theorize that it's because we pick up small pieces of information and our brain subconsciously deciphers it and feeds it to our thought process without knowing. But because the very nature of intuition is hard to study, there's likely going to be no solid proof of how it's done, how it works, and why it only works in certain people. Maybe it's magic some people have and some people don't. Will we ever know in this lifetime? Number 9. What else is in the oceans? Think about planet Earth. There's no doubt that the world is huge. The waters of the world make up 71% of our planet, give or take, and there's a lot to see and find in the oceans, lakes, and rivers, and so on. But here's the thing. Despite knowing a lot about our oceans, we honestly don't know everything, not even close. As of the year 2000, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration estimated that as much as 95% of the world's oceans and 99% of the ocean's floor are unexplored. We know just a tiny percentage of marine life. Who knows what creatures lurk below? What lost underwater cities hold? How deep do the deepest parts of the world go? Part of the reason for this lack of exploration is funding and technology, but many are hoping to explore it more. Another problem is that certain areas, like the Mariana Trench, are so deep that it's incredibly hard to stay down there for long periods of time. So, what else could be in the oceans? The questions are many, the answers are few, and it's unclear when we will ever get to the bottom of it. Number 8. Desert glass. In December of 1932, a man named Patrick Clayton, who worked for the Egyptian Geological Survey, was driving through the Sahara Desert near Libya, and he heard something that didn't make sense. As he was driving on the sand, he heard a strange crunching sound. He stopped the car and looked under his tires to find there was glass beneath them. And not just ordinary glass, mind you, but pure glass. Glass with a yellow-green tint, and one that apparently had iridium in it. This would eventually be dubbed Libyan desert glass. It is the purest, natural silica glass ever found on Earth. But the mystery that was on everyone's minds was how this glass was formed in the Sahara Desert. While it is true that sand can be turned into glass, it's not an easy process, and it requires a tremendous amount of heat that not even the scorching temperatures of the Sahara can produce. At least, not without a little help. The most popular answer to this mystery is that about 20 or 30 million years ago, a meteorite came to Earth and crashed into the area that is now the Sahara, which at the time was much more green, and the intense heat transformed the sand and other materials into glass. Though because the meteorite in question has not been found or confirmed timeline-wise, this is but speculation. However, impacts from meteors have been known to cause intense explosions upon impact, so it's within the realm of possibility. Is it hidden beneath the sand, just waiting for someone to discover it? Or is the answer behind the glass different entirely? Number 7, the brain. Some have described it as the 3-pound paradox that literally helps control all that we do and shows who we truly are. But to say that science knows even a true fraction of its power would be a lie. The brain is a mystery that many have tried to explain or answer in their own ways, but certain things about it quite literally don't make sense, such as how the brain can be trained to make the body get rid of pain just through concentration, or how it's only really functioning at about 40% power, and yet we can do so much. So, what would happen if we can fire at 100%? Is that even possible? Not to mention the evolution of the brain that allows us to be truly human while other creatures on Earth don't have our capabilities. The brain is a mystery in all the ways that matter, and it may take an incredibly long time for us to truly figure it out, if we ever do at all. Number 6, Yonaguni Monument. In Japan, there is a place called Yonaguni Island. There, they have one of the most interesting monuments in the world. It was found beneath the waves. The monument is a series of large rock formations that has the scientific world split as to whether this is a natural design or something made by man. No one can definitively prove either way who or what made it. It was found in 1986 by accident when a diver who worked for the local tourism association. He spread the word, and soon scientists from all over the world went to the formations to see what they were like. In regards to it potentially being a natural formation, it's been proven by nature that weather and water can make objects and monoliths that seem man-made given enough time. Some scientists note that there are similar formations like this on the northeast side of the island, just not as big. On the other hand, the way the monument is designed has markings just like other buildings in our cities and towns do, including right angles, having rocks be on platforms in specific ways, and even having a rock protrusion that looks like the carving of a human face. Some scientists believe that it was built around 2,000 to 3,000 years ago and was part of Yamatai, an ancient part of Japan. But is that really true? No one can say for sure. Number 5, creation. Perhaps one of the biggest mysteries that remains unexplained is that of how did we get here? Not in terms of living on Earth, but rather of how Earth and space and the universe at large came to be. There are many theories about how the universe was born, from the Big Bang to gods and more. But the problem with all of these is that since there was no one alive to witness creation, it can't really be answered. There are theories, there's some evidence that points to one or the other, but nothing can be proven because of the very complicated nature of creation as a whole. Should a true answer ever be given, it would change how we look at the universe and life in it forever, which is why many are working so hard, and some have even committed their lives to figuring out the answer. Number 4, the yawn. In terms of functions of the body, most are known and documented, with a few exceptions, of course. One of those exceptions is the yawn, an evolutionary curiosity that has puzzled the mind of scientists for decades. There have been studies about how yawning is contagious, and that you can actually see someone yawn, or hear someone yawn, or even think about someone yawn, and you'll do it yourself out of reflex. Mythbusters actually did a test on this, and they deemed it plausible. But why does the yawn exist? What function does it really provide the body? One theory is that when we are bored or tired, we just don't breathe as deeply as we usually do. As this theory goes, our bodies take in less oxygen because our breathing has slowed. Therefore, yawning helps us bring more oxygen into the blood and move more carbon dioxide out of the blood. No one knows the exact reasoning behind it, and yet we still do it. And we do it on cue or in reaction to something, thus proving we have a lot to learn about the human body still. Number 3, Bigfoot, or Sasquatch or Yeti, the tall, hairy, upright, walking, ape-like or humanoid creature that dwells in the wilderness and leaves giant footprints. It may seem odd to think Bigfoot is a big unexplained mystery, but look beyond the hoaxes and the people yelling to anyone who will listen that they've seen the massive creature, and you'll notice something. For all the scientists who claim that Bigfoot isn't real, a lot of people have seen him or have seen variations of him that can't fully be explained. The numbers aren't just it though. It's the locations the creature or creatures have been seen in a way that can't be localized as a misconception. Think of it like this. The Loch Ness Monster is one of the most famous monster sightings ever because it's always seen in one body of water. But Bigfoot? It's been seen all over North America, from Alaska to Canada, and even all the way down to Mexico. So how is it that so many people claim to have seen it if it's not real? Number 2, near-death experiences. The afterlife is something science and religion has debated for a very long time. Some people believe in a heaven or an underworld. Others believe in reincarnation. And some are just adamant that when you die, it's just over. That being said, there have been numerous cases over the years of people having near-death experiences or being technically dead, no pulse, no heartbeat, and seeing something from beyond this world. One of the most famous stories is that of a light at the end of a dark tunnel, while others have stated that they've seen heaven and have actually spent time there. There have even been books written about their experiences. But have you noticed that similar things are noted in these experiences? Doesn't that constitute a pattern? Furthermore, why is it that only some have these experiences at all? No one is really sure, but guesses have been put forth. One is that while your heart and pulse have stopped, your brain technically hasn't. It's firing off various things to try and get the body going again. And these signals are sending information to you in various ways that makes you think you're seeing something profound, when really you're not. Others say that these are nothing more than hallucinations made by your brain to try and cope with what is happening to the body. And yet, there are many who swear they saw what was beyond, and nothing will convince them otherwise, which is why the question of what comes after and the experiences leading up to that are so debated because they can't truly be explained. Number 1, the Fermi Paradox. Despite its scientific name, the Fermi Paradox at its core is just a very simple question. A question that was asked by Italian physicist Enrico Fermi, most famous for creating the first nuclear reactor, when he was at lunch with his friends and fellow physicists in the summer of 1950. As they talked about the possibility of alien life, a question came to Fermi. Where are they? Where are whom, you ask? The aliens. That's what Fermi was asking, because based on his reasoning and his logic of the universe as a whole, there honestly shouldn't be a reason that we haven't met aliens of some kind, or at the very least, haven't discovered that there's alien life out in the universe right now. Of course, there are sightings and abduction stories and so on, but he means actual connection and understanding between our own species and alien life. This may seem like one in a long line of far-fetched theories, but this paradox is one that has taken root in the culture of the world, because it's a question and a paradox that can't easily be dismissed until alien life is truly found. If there are aliens out there, why haven't we met them yet? Many have taken to try and solve the paradox, but every answer given just brings forth more questions. For example, maybe there isn't any life out there, to which the paradox would say, but why only us? We just haven't explored the right parts of space. But we've seen so much. Is life really secluded to places that we just haven't seen yet? And so on and so forth. Recall that this is a physicist asking this, not a conspiracy theorist. Thus, the Fermi Paradox lives on, and until definitive proof one way or another is given, it will remain unexplained. Thanks for watching. What did you think of some of these mysteries? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!